looking at angles last week, we talked about supplementary angles and complementary angles. Okay, so what are supplementary angles? Can you guys remember? Okay, so supplementary angles are angles that add up to equal 180 degrees. So they usually look like this. They form some kind of line. So the first angle is actually like this. And the second angle looks something like that. They're like one of their sides is they're, I guess, pressed with each other, if you want to call it that. And then the other two kind of go adjacent like this to form a straight line. So if this one is 110, this one will be 70. If this one is 115, this one will be 65. If this is 175, this one will be 5. Okay? The point is that they will add up to 180 degrees. When we have a complementary angle, the two angles make up 90 degrees. So they can look like this. So it could be like 30 and 60, 45 and 45. Okay, the point is that they just add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so remember, those are supplementary. Oops. Don't know what's going on there. Supplementary angles. And these are complementary. Okay, so now that we have that, let's talk about opposite angles. So sometimes we'll have two lines that form an X like this. In this little like X formation, we will see what we call opposite angles, like these. These are opposite angles. These opposite angles are equal to each other. Okay, so if this is, let me change the color here. If this is 50, this one will also be 50. In the same way, these are also opposite angles. So if these are 130, this one will also be 130. All right, now super important. With this one, we not only have our opposite angles that I kind of just showed you, but we also have supplementary angles. If you notice, this angle goes like this, shares a side with this angle, and they make a straight line together like that, okay? That means that these two angles right here are supplementary. And supplementary means they add up to 180 degrees, okay? So we look at 50 and 130, and they have to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so then the same thing goes here, 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 okay? They will add up to 180 degrees because they are next to each other like that. Okay, so now that we have that, let's take a look at some kind of like questions like this. So let's say we have this, and it's labeled A, B, C, D. And the question says, if angle B is 38 degrees, what is angle A and what is angle t. Okay, now with that information, we can see here that angle B is 38 degrees. Okay. And we're going to look at our first part of the question that asks for angle A. We ask ourselves, what is the relationship between angle B and angle A? Well, angle B and angle A share this side right here, and they form a straight line right here, which means they are what?
Complementary?
Close, they are supplementary. I get them confused too. I get the names confused, but they're supplementary, which means they add up to what?
180 degrees.
Very good. They add up to 180 degrees. So that means that whatever this is right here, if we do 180 minus 38, that'll give us the answer. So we borrow from here, this becomes a 7, this becomes a 2, 7 minus 3 is 4. It becomes 142. Okay, that is A. Now, the next part of the question says, what is angle D? When we do these kinds of questions, we always ask ourselves, what is the relationship of the angle that it's asking me for to the angle that it's giving me? Well, it gives me angle B, which is 38, right? And it's asking me for angle D. Well, what's the relationship? They are across from each other, as we can see, okay? Which means they are opposite angles. And what are opposite angles?
Equal.
Correct. They are equal to each other. So that means that D is also 38 degrees. Okay, any questions about this?
No.
Okay, so let's do some practice. Now, I know we're doing this, but is there anything else you guys want to review or that you have questions about?
Not really.
Okay. Rain, I'm not sure if it was you or someone else that commented in the course this week, asking if we could go over a specific topic. Was that you by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
No, I forgot it.
Okay, all right. Well, if you remember it, just let me know when we can go over it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let me see here. A, B, C, D. All right. All right, guys, go ahead and do that and just let me know when you're ready to go.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, Rain, are you ready also?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over real quick. Let me change the color. All right, so C is 109. And the first one is asking me for A. So what is the relationship between C and A? They are opposite angles, which means they are equal to each other. So that tells me off the bat that A is also 109 degrees. Okay. Now B. I noticed that B is adjacent to C. They share a line right here, and the other two lines form a straight line like this, which means they are supplementary angles, which means they're going to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 109. Sorry, I'm going to subtract 109 from 180. And that gives me 71 degrees. Okay, so far so good?
Yep.
Yeah, we got both of them right.
Yep.
Okay, what about you, Rain?
I got it.
Okay, awesome. So, all right, let's go ahead and I have a question here for you. All right, go ahead and do this one. It shouldn't take you long, and just let me know when you're ready. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so it gives us angle 1, which is 61 degrees. And it asks us the sum of angles 1 and 4. Well, what is the relationship between 1 and 4? They share a side, this one, right? And their other two sides make a straight line over here, which means they add up to 180 degrees. And it's asking me for the sum. So what's this plus this? It's going to be 180 degrees. So I don't have to actually find angle 4. I just use the knowledge that angle 1 and 4 add up to 180. Okay? Okay. How do we do? Any questions?
Nope, I got it.
No.
Okay. Cool. So then let's keep going. Now the next kind of like question or concept I want to go over is where we have something that looks like this. This is essentially, if you notice, it's like what we just did, okay? If we zoom into one of them, except now it gets multiplied by 2, okay? So let's look at what that looks like in like concept-wise. So what happens is we have two parallel lines. Parallel lines means that they never touch each other, okay? They just kind of are right next to each other. And a line runs through those two parallel lines. When that happens, it creates that same A, B, C, D that we saw in the last thing that we went over. But then it replicates that same thing down here in E, F, Okay, so we still have, let me kind of change up the colors here a little bit. We still have our supplementary angles where these two angles are adding up. Okay, we have the same thing over here as well. We still also have our opposite angles. So all those concepts that we just looked at are the same, okay? Except now it's multiplied, like I said, by 2. And something interesting here is if this is 100 degrees, this one is also 100 degrees. So it's like whatever this is up here gets copied and pasted down here. So this is 100 and this is 80, this is 80. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So let's go ahead and start looking at some sample questions. So I'm gonna try to like draw it bigger. All right, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, so let's say we are given angle C. So if angle C is 120 degrees, what is angle D? What is angle H? What is angle G? Okay. And let's try this one. What is the sum of angle A and angle C? Just so we can like switch it up and have a couple of different kinds of examples. Okay, so with this first one, okay, angle C is 120. And remember, when we're doing these kinds of questions with angles, we ask ourselves, what is the relationship between the angle that it's asking me for and the angle that is given? Okay, so the angle that is given to me is angle C and it's asking me for angle D. What is the relationship? They share a side and they form a line. Okay, so that means they add up to what?
180 degrees.
Very good, 180 degrees. So 120 plus what gives me 180?
60.
Excellent. So that means that angle D is going to be 60 degrees. All right, so now I'm going to put 60 right here. And now this becomes a new given for me, which means I can just keep using this. All right. All right, so now next one says angle H. Angle H is in our lower tier. So what I'm going to do to make my life easier is I'm going to copy everything that I have in the top in terms of numbers down to the bottom in the exact same positions. So that means this one, 120 in the lower bottom, will come over here. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. And then the 60, I'm going to copy it over here. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So when I do that, I realize that angle H is simply also 60 degrees. So I can fill that in right here. And I also find angle G, which is 120 degrees, and I can fill that in right here. Okay? Pretty easy, right? Once we like learn these like concepts. Okay, so then it says, what is the sum of angle A and angle C? So we know angle C, obviously that's been given to us, right? And we need to find angle A. We haven't found it yet. Well, what's the relationship between angle A and angle C? They are opposite angles, which means they are what?
They are equal.
Excellent. They are equal to each other. So that goes here, right? and I'm looking for the sum of it, so I add them together, and 120 plus 120 is simply 240. Okay? So this is a quick peek at angles for geometry for the ASVAB. If you want to keep looking at more geometry videos, just check out our other videos coming soon. If you like daily questions, join us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to know more about our free ASVAB events, text at ASVAB free to 81010. Good luck as you study for the ASVAB.